Production and productivity. Production means manufacturing something in order to sell it. Production involves converting inputs, that's raw materials and labour, into outputs, i.e. things to sell. The inputs can be any of the four factors of production: land, labour, capital and enterprise. Inputs can be tangible, that's things you can touch like raw materials or machines, or intangible, things that cannot be touched like ideas, talent or knowledge. The outputs should have an exchangeable value. They need to be something that can be sold. So for example, if we're making a chair, that would be the output. The production process is the stage before, but the inputs, the first stage, so if you're reading from right to left, that is, you can see that there would be capital, i.e. the machine, the saw to cut the wood from the trees, the labour, the enterprise, the person taking the risk of organising the factors of production and reward for profit. So repeat, we have inputs, then it goes to the production stage where the chairs are made and assembled, and the final output would be the chair itself. Productivity is the output per factor employed. Productivity is a way of measuring how efficient a company or an economy is producing its output. It's defined as output per unit of input employed. So one company could take the same amount of inputs as another company but produce more stuff. Their productivity would be greater. You can work out an overall level of productivity involving all four possible inputs, but you can also calculate productivity for any one of the four individual factors of production. For example, labour. Improving the productivity of any one of these separate factors should increase overall productivity. So let's just look at one of these inputs here then. So labour productivity is the output per worker per hour, or output per hour worked if you prefer. Labour productivity is one example of measuring productivity for one factor. It's the amount of output produced per worker or per worker hour. To calculate labour productivity, take the amount of output produced in a particular time, divide this by the total number of workers, or the hours worked by all the workers. Labour productivity allows workers to be compared against other workers. For example, labour productivity is calculated for whole economies so that the productivity of the different labour forces can be compared. Improvements in labour productivity can come about as a result of better training, more experience, improved technology and so on. Specialisation can also improve labour productivity. If each worker performs the task that they're good at doing, having practiced a lot or having been trained to do so, then they'll produce more than if they did lots of different tasks.